Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to repot your Sampaguita plant and Rosal. So first I got all my supplies, my trowels, my rakes, and these are all from Shopee. Here I'm going to show you how I make my potting mix. Here's my loam soil, my cocoa peat, some perlite, and here's my complete fertilizer and magnesium sulfate. Now it's time to prepare my potting mix. First, I would need 2 parts of loam soil. This is organically prepared. So I noticed that there are manures in here. This is very fertile. I'm gonna be adding 1 part perlite to make it more aerated, to make it more loose, and 1 part cocoa peat. Cocoa peat helps your soil retain more moisture, so in case you're busy and you've forgotten to water it for a day, it's fine. And then all you have to do is mix them all together really well so that it's very well balanced. And it's time to depot my plants. Okay, so normally when you buy plants from the nursery, they would come in these poly bags. So just cut them up open and make sure to just prep up the roots, make it a little loose. I'd like to save some of the original soil that it comes with. So with this Sampaguita plant, the soil is pretty much packed, I notice. I might have to change this in a few days after I receive the rest of my supplies, but for now it'll do. So you see that it's very compact in one chunk. But I'm going to be adding my potting mix first in the pot. I'm going to be using this very cute 6-inch pot that I got also from Shopee. Make sure to put in your potting mix at the base before you put in your plant. There it goes. So I'm going to be adding some of my potting mix and fill it up. Make sure that every inch is covered and it's balanced and stable inside. I'm also adding a bit of this complete fertilizer. I got it from Shopee. It's 16, 16, 16 NPK. And I just eyeball this. So I put some. Make sure not to put beyond 1 tablespoon. And then spread it across your soil. And then cover it up with more potting mix. Make sure none of the fertilizer is exposed. Now it's time to do the water test. After you've filled in your pot, pour some water to make sure and check if it's draining well. For this Sampaguita plant, because the soil that it came with is really packed, it's not as draining as I'd like, but it's still okay. I see the movement of the water is fine. I'm just going to cover the tops with more cocoa peat because I don't like seeing all of those perlite there. I might have to change that in a few days. And that's it. Let's go to my gardenia. So for my gardenia plant or Rosal, I'm going to be using the same potting mix. This potting mix works well with all kinds of jasmine. So if you have Grand Dukes of Tuscany, if you have Maid of Orleans, if you have Dama de Noche, if you have gardenia or Rosal, this mix works well. It's very loose and well draining, and it holds moisture well as well. So I'm going to be putting my potting mix inside my chosen pot. This is a bigger pot for my Rosal. I think this is about 12 inch, 10 to 12 inch. And just put like 1 inch or 2 of your potting mix before you put in your plant. Make sure to remove it from the poly bag. So cut it up, cut it open. And I like using the original soil that it came with so it acclimates better to the new environment. With this plant, I noticed that the soil is much more loose. It has a lot of, I think, rice hulls in it, which is good. So I saved a lot of those and made sure to include a lot of it in this pot. And I noticed that because of that, this plant is more well draining. It doesn't really hold a lot of puddles when I pour in my water. And before I forget, I'm also adding a bit of this complete fertilizer. It's 16, 16, 16 NPK. I just eyeball this, so I put some. Make sure not to put beyond 1 tablespoon, and then spread it across your soil, and then cover it up with more potting mix. Make sure none of the fertilizer is exposed. So again, fill your pot up with your potting mix to make sure that all the spaces are filled before you try to do the water test. And then it's time to pour some water. As you can see, this pot is very well draining. No matter how much water I put in, it just flushes out really well. So this is our goal, actually, to make sure that it's very well draining, yet it holds enough moisture so your roots won't dry out. And here's how my pots are looking. They're looking very gorgeous. And then this morning, here's how it looks like. So apparently my Sampaguita is loving it, but I would still have to change the potting mix to make sure that I won't suffer from root rot. So here's how I repot my plants. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Bye!